Hi friends, hello, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a new project which I am so excited to share with you guys and start today actually. And this is going to be making a junk journal from actual junk. So we are going to be using all types of packaging and random leaflets that we get from places and junk mail envelopes and all of that to create a journal. And in my case, I think I'm going to make a ring bound or a twine bound journal, something like that. I'll decide probably along the way, probably when I have a few more pages. And that's because I really want to work sort of one page of at a time. And I will show you guys what we are going to be doing today in just a second. But basically, when I was picking my engagement ring from the jewelry store where they were fixing it, I got this free catalog, and like I would normally just recycle it, but it gave me an idea that these pages are such a nice size. They are pretty much 6 by 6. And so I thought, how cute would a journal made out of those be? And so that's what I'm going to be using mostly as the basis of my pages. And then I'm going to also be using all sorts of different junk to create the decorations and such. And so here is the first page that I made. And I'm going to be working on 2 of these journals simultaneously so that I can kind of craft in my downtime when I'm relaxing and make sort of those pages for one of the journals, and then I can show you guys and make another one from scratch. So basically this is the first page, and I also made a template, not this way, and so I know where my like holes are going to go and eyelets, and like I said, this is about 6 by 6, pretty much exactly that. And so this is what it looks like on both sides. And let me just quickly show you what we have. So we have one of those pages in between some printables, and this is another thing that I'm going to be using, is some printables that I've had printed in my stash for years. And I finally just want to dig into the stash and start using them. So I'm going to primarily be using Medieval Mirage and also Lorna tailor-made journals. So this is a junk mail envelope here. I decorated it, as you can see, with all the bits and pieces, a bit of a manila sort of tag that I embossed inside. This is magnetized, so it opens up like this. There is some journaling space here, and this I will either do something to it or leave it like that, because I think it's such a nice page to just maybe paste some of your own ephemera, maybe your own photo. And so when you turn the page, we have the other side of the junk mail envelope, because it's one of those longer ones that I folded. So we have a pocket here, a pocket on the side, and a little one here, and all of those pieces of ephemera along with the little pocket. Let me show you. So I have this tag with some hand stitching all around. All of them are I used this is just a box from some of my like prenatal supplements. I take a lot of those, so I have a lot of those boxes, and they have a nice creamy sort of inside. So I decided to use those, and they are nice thickness for tags and journaling cards, I think. So I have this little piece with some very wonky stitching, but you know, it's a junk journal. And then on the side here there is also a pocket, and these are so simple, these cards and tags, but I think they look really pretty. And of course they provide you with a lot of journaling space in a journal like this, in which the pages are rather small, and at least this first page, both sides are highly decorated. So I think this first journal that I am going to be making off camera is going to be these colors, so mostly like browns and warm colors, and then some pinks and some creams and all of that. And the other one will have some similar colors, but I also wanted to have some more like blue and green and mint green, and some deeper blues. So those are, oh, my pencil matches those pages really well. So those are the papers that I kind of pulled from my stash to create this journal with, the second journal. And so yeah, so I already picked some papers for this first page, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a page from this, and I already have one. And if you have such booklets or leaflets or anything like that, you could definitely double up the pages. Maybe I'm going to move my coffee. You could definitely, yeah, so this is going to be slightly less than 6 inches, as you can see, but I want to clean this edge a little bit. You could definitely double them up if they are too flimsy, but I feel like with this thickness and also a paper on the front and on the back, I am actually fine with how thick these pages are going to be. And so I think I'm going to use this page for the background of the sort of front of this page, and then this paper for the, I think it goes this way, for the envelope. So let me start with my glue. And I actually think I will cover both the front and the back first, and then stitch around them, which is of course, as always, optional. But I think I would like to have, like, if not all, then most of my pages in this journal stitched around with my sewing machine. And I also intend to do a lot of hand stitching because I've been loving it. I love the way it looks and the texture it gives. And let me just see, I think I'm going to try to like go sort of, maybe not to the edge, so I can have a little bit of this blue, although mostly this mint green and the roses. So this is going to be one side of my page, and I'm actually really excited about making a journal this way, where I will work page by page, and because it can grow, you know, I can use the rings or the twine binding as large as I want it. It can grow and grow, and I can do a lot of interactive bits and things like that. So it's actually an exciting way to make a journal. Okay, I love this page. So this one is from Medieval Mirage, and my envelope is going to go kind of like this. And then of course it's going to be opening up. So for the second, for the other side, sorry, I think I'm going to go with this beautiful wallpaper from Lorna again. and maybe try to grab these flowers. And then the pocket, the other side of the envelope, is going to be this stunning piece from Medieval Mirage. Now I don't have to be too fussy, about my gluing, since I am going to be stitching. But I want it to be covered kind of evenly. And this is what it looks like, inked around, stitched around, with some messy stitching here, but I don't mind it. Yeah, so now let's tackle the junk mail envelope. And I could give you guys the size of this one, but it's not going to be probably the size, or is it, on the page? Because I'm not going to fold it in half, because then I would take away from the window. So I am going to leave a bit of a margin, maybe like this. Yeah, and make sure it's folded nicely. And then this edge is completely crooked, so I'm going to just quickly even it out, and maybe I will actually cut a little bit more from this edge so that it's kind of like similar size to this one, not measuring it, but just eyeballing it. Something like that. And so this side is about 4.5 inches, and the other side is slightly smaller. It's about maybe just slightly less than 4.25, as you can see. So this is going to go over my page like that, and it's currently opened here, and I could actually leave it like that. So with this one, I have an opening on the top. I could perhaps have an opening on this side, on this side. But then I don't know if whatever I put in here won't interfere with the binding. So actually what I'm also going to do is I am going to cut just a sliver along this edge, and maybe I'll do it with my scissors, because I want just a tiny sliver to open this envelope up like that. Perfect. And so you guys can see, this is how my envelope looks like. And I'm going to, with this part, I'm going to have a pocket here. So this we will glue or stitch or do something with that. And on the back side, I'm going to have a pocket here. And also behind this is going to be my sort of secret pocket. So let's focus on this front side first. Okay, so I cut myself a piece of this beautiful rose wallpaper paper. It's just tiny bit bigger than this part of the envelope, just to allow for some wiggle room and some room for error. And I also cut a rectangle, which is slightly smaller, as you can see, than the window, and it's going to be a template for the window. Now, I prefer it to be smaller because, again, it just allows for some errors when you are recreating your window. So I am going to kind of position my my piece where I think it's going to go on the envelope. And then, as you can see, I can just position my template. I'm doing it on the reverse of this paper, and let's probably maybe better to use the lines on my mat since I have them, to see if I'm kind of not crooked too much about this. But yes, I'm doing it on the reverse side because then I can be a bit messy with the pencil marks, and also I don't have to worry about erasing them when I cut my window. Oh, I'm so very messy, very messy. It's definitely better to make a template like this with cardstock, not very thin paper, but that's okay. So I have my window approximately where I want it, and then I'm going to take a ruler and a craft knife, and just, you could do the same with just with scissors, but I'm going to take a piece kind of along. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's not going very well, is it? Along the line. Let me see if this can be salvaged. Yeah, I think it can, because we can cover it up with something. So you can clearly see that I am not very good with using a craft knife like this. Although I tell you guys, it worked perfectly off camera. The moment you turn the camera on, anything that can go wrong will probably go wrong. But that's okay. We will see what we can do with that. And if this cannot be salvaged, I will use this piece for something else and just cut another piece from the remaining bit of paper that I had. So this is what we have. So other than this little messy bit, although wait, because I did cut my window smaller, I definitely could just even it out. So let me attempt to do it. So this is where I would have to cut. Now my window is not going to be exactly in the middle because of that, but I think that's okay. It's not exactly in the middle on the other one that I made, so, and it doesn't bother me. Oh, please stop bending. I have to see what I'm doing. Okay. Right, so this is much better, and I am also going to take some tiny scissors and then just even out this edge. So, you know, if you are more skilled with a craft knife, this definitely wouldn't take you that much time. But I'm going to ink the inside of this window now, and then use some glue to stick it to my envelope. Okay, now the next thing to consider is that I want this to be magnetized. So I want to hide a little magnet inside this envelope before I glue it down completely. And then on the other side, the magnet will actually be, let me show you how this would work. So on this side, the magnet will be inside the envelope, somewhere here, let's say, because on the other side, it's going to be on the page, hidden under this pocket. So this one we will attach kind of as the last thing before we glue this side down. But this one I definitely want to tackle first. And so I have those small little magnets. I think how large are they? Like two, I don't know, you guys, like probably 0.5 millimeters. Sorry about that. So I'm going to let's take 2 just to know where they should go. And also I'm not going to put it directly in the corner or like anywhere here, because then this side is shorter, so it's not going to cover it up. That's why I'm going to be putting it somewhere here, so then on the other side it's going to be nice and covered, and also it's not going to be interfering with whatever I put in the side pocket here. So let's see. Let's see. Is this going to be a good spot? And I can just, you know, tell it from this magnet. I could even move it slightly to this side. I think that's fine. So here is my little magnet inside, and this one is just holding it right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my wet glue and glue this little guy down. In this spot. Sorry if you can't see what I'm doing. But it's definitely a little bit fiddly. Okay. Yeah, it's good. So let's give it just a moment to dry. And then I will also use a piece of tape over the magnet to kind of reinforce it, but also so that it doesn't again interfere with what I'm going to be putting into this pocket. It doesn't have to be pretty at all, because we are not going to be seeing it. So this is what I did. I have my little magnet, covered it with tape, and now when I'm sliding something to this pocket, it just will slide over the tape and not kind of catch on the magnet. So there is this, and now I can remove this little one, give that one time to stick, and this one we will deal with later. Okay, now I also cut a piece of paper to cover the window. So this is what the page looked like, and this pretty digital ledger is from, I believe, the Old Design Shop. Again, I had this printed for years, so I apologize if I can't give you guys like exact kit names or anything like that, but I am just very much intent on using my stash. So this piece that I cut is slightly smaller again than my envelope here, because it really just needs to cover the window. And it doesn't have to go all the way down. So something like this. Yeah. Yes. Perfect. Almost perfect. Let's fiddle with it a little bit more. So this is what this looks like for now. Now for some decoration. So I found a few pieces in my stash to decorate it with. So I have this minty green sort of lace, and I made a bow. I also have this trim here, as you can see under the bow, which is nice and curvy, and I think I'm going to leave it like that and just attach it. Some cheesecloth on underneath it, a couple of buttons which I just put thread through, didn't stitch them through here, and On this one, I actually also have some hand stitching on this side, which I'm going to do here as well. But I also had a piece of trim that I hand stitched to these larger pieces of lace. Now, I don't think I want to add anything here, but I was thinking, and I don't know if it's going to work, but I was thinking that perhaps I could add a little bit of, now I'm of course struggling with my needle here, but I was thinking of adding a little bit of hand stitching with this color, and I chose this color of embroidery thread because it matches those roses really nicely here. Maybe I could just add a little bit of like straight stitching. I don't know how much thread I'm going to be needing, but just on this ruffled part. And I am not a sewer, so please don't learn from me, because I am such an amateur. But like I said, I love the look. It's actually quite pretty. I love the look. I love the texture that hand stitching adds, and also I don't know, it's just such a special touch, I feel like, to add to a journal. Okay, so let's see what we have. Oh yeah, this is so cute. So let me make some knots. It's such a tiny detail, but I love how much it adds. Okay, so now I can get to assembling my pieces, I believe, with my hot glue. I should have my little spatula so that I don't burn myself. Oops. I don't burn myself. And this one I really like at an angle like that, so I'm going to attempt to put my glue at an angle. I can always add more later. It's very cute, and it's going to stick out from the page a little bit, which I think is lovely. For my bow, I think this is a nice spot, or do I want it higher? Maybe not. Maybe just right here in this little nook. And then the buttons, kind of like that, I'm thinking. Or maybe slightly closer, maybe here. This one is very like vibrant. I didn't have any buttons that would be this like nice softer minty green color, but even so I really like this. Like this is like, oops, turquoise blue. This is such a pretty color, and I think it matches everything else pretty well. Okay, so everything is stuck down. Do I maybe want, oops, I have some glue strings. Do I maybe want a tiny bit of glue here so I can flatten out my cheesecloth like that and kind of position it more the way I want it, slightly over the window. I think it's really pretty and so soft and so nice. Which way? This way. And I think it matches what we have going on this page really nicely. Okay, So to make my hand stitching on the edge here easier, I'm just going to use this old book that I kind of am using for that, and use my awl and do my holes for where my needle is going to go beforehand, because trust me, it's so much easier when you don't have to do it with your needle through all of those different layers of paper. It can be quite tough. So I'm just making a row of holes like this. And actually, please don't follow my words exactly, because I completely forgot that I also want to put something on the reverse side here. So I have this printable, and this one I really don't know who this is from, so I am really sorry. I think maybe Lorna, again, tailor-made journals. But I chose this one because it has a little bit of blank space, which will be nice for here, I believe, so that whoever owns this journal does have some little hidden spots for journaling. So I'm just going to glue it down here and ink around. Then I just redid those holes. I have my thread, my embroidery floss here, and I am just going to go from the back to the front in a sort of wraparound manner. So, well, it's going to be much easier for me if I can see the back side of this as well. Not sure if this is the best angle for the video, but hopefully you guys know what I mean. And if anyone knows what this particular stitch is called, I would very much appreciate if you let me know. I know it's not a blanket stitch because I'm not threading like the needle through the thread here, and I am just wrapping it around the edge of a page. And so this is what it's looking like. Okay, so this is how it looks like. And I think I actually decided to switch the size of my page. So I think with those soft layers that we have here, this one just looks so gorgeous, and I think I like it more this way. And then what I did with this side of the envelope is to save us some time, I just glued some printable ledger paper and a scrap of the same paper that I have here on the background. Excuse me. And I stitched around here. So now I think it's finally time to glue this whole thing down, but let's not forget about our magnet. So a nice thing about magnets is that because we already have one in place, we don't have to figure out where the other one is going. I just have to make sure that this is where I want it to be. So I'm thinking here, and then I'm just going to let this little magnet, just clip to where the magnet on the other side is. And now with this in place, I can open this up, and I am going to glue along these two sides. So this creates a nice side-loading pocket, and I'm going to add a generous amount of glue so that it holds down the stitching or over my stitching, but also because this part is actually holding the whole flip together, so we do really want it to be nice and secure. Let's just make sure. Okay, so let's give it a moment. And actually what I did with the other one, and what I think I want to do with this one as well, is I took one of those trims that I have here. So it's this one. Took a piece of that and I glued it to the edge of the page. So let me just cut the piece, which is approximately the correct size. And maybe I'll actually snip those off because they are getting in the way a little bit. And so this is going to be here like that. It's going to slightly impair the pocket, make it slightly smaller, but I don't mind. And then on the other side, this is what it's going to look like, just a pretty little ruffle, which I think is super cute. So let me just wait for my wet glue. And by wet glue, I of course meant hot glue. And so in the meantime, I'm just going to have one of these manila tags that were very kindly gifted to me and that I just put through my embossing machine. I'm going to ink around it because I think it's what I would like to have in the pocket on the first page. Let's just see how this would look like. I think it looks nice, and maybe I could use this lace for the little topper. So I think I'm going to go with some eyelets. Maybe, what color would I like? Maybe a gold one for this journal. So I'll take an eyelet, a little garnet, and with my crocodile I'll just close the eyelet, which I'm sorry if I'm not showing in the best way on camera, but it is quite fiddly. Okay. And now let's see, do I want, let's just see, do I want this? Yeah, I think so. So I have a few smaller pieces, but some are in the mess that is currently my desk. Yeah, I should have more. And I'm just thinking, how do I want this? Another bow might be too much, I think. Let me help myself with my awl. Okay, so maybe just tie it at the top, a little knot, maybe a double knot so that it is more secure. And actually I quite like it. Maybe I'll just cut those at an angle for some, this one is already cut at an angle, for some additional interest. And this is what we have on this side. And then here, I like how this all kind of merges together. So those pockets are going to be even more hidden when you don't have anything in them. I think my hot glue should be ready, so I am going to do it in pieces like that, so it doesn't dry on me. And this time I'm trying to be a little bit more straight with this trim, even though it does want to curl. But this will give me a really pretty ruffle effect. I love it. It's so cute. Okay, so here is what we have so far. This again is magnetized, and this opens up for some journaling space. A little tag here, which I love. And then here, let me just show you guys, we have a pocket inside of the envelope. We have a side pocket here, and I'm probably going to make a little pocket here as well. Okay, so after taking a short break to just eat something, because I feel like I've been filming for 2 hours. I mean, I have been there here for 2 hours for sure. I'm ready to make some ephemera for this. So I have this packaging from some supplements that I'm taking, and I am just going to cut apart some of those, especially some of those bigger parts, like that, and I'll show you guys what we will be using today. Of course, you don't have to have packaging like that. You could just use some cardboard or cardstock, make some tags, some journaling cards. So I'm going to have one of these bigger pieces as a tag for this pocket. Then one of those, I'm just trying to clean those edges a little bit. This one will be a tag or a journaling card for the pocket, for the side pocket. And then I think I also, so these I think I'll keep, and they could be used, we will probably do it for another page, like belly bands or something like that, or just those long tags. But I'm also going to be using those flaps, so I'll just trim them like this, and they are such a nice size for a little pocket and a little card. So maybe let's trim this as well. And so I would have a little pocket here with a little card or a tag here like this. So that's the plan. And I think I will start with some of those papers that I also had on the other side. So I have this rose pattern, and I'm actually going to be decorating the printed side. Sorry. So I just want to see if this is not too sort of see-through. If it was, and if it bothered you, then you could definitely either use some gesso, some white acrylic paint, or cover it maybe with something white or neutral first. But honestly, I don't think it bothers me. It's just like I can't see any of the image, or I can't read the writing through my my paper. And it just, I feel like, adds a little bit of interest in the background of the paper. Like you can see that there is something there, but it's not clear sort of what it is. And also I think I will use one of these, maybe this one, so the small card that's going to go into the tiny pocket. And I will also use the same paper. So by using scraps of the same papers on both sides, and maybe on some other, where do I want this? Maybe here. And on some other pages in this journal, I think you can create cohesion throughout the whole project, which is always nice, especially that I am working with quite a random, I would say, assortment of papers, because I just grabbed some papers from my stash that I thought that they went together, you know, with the colors, but it's not like it's a ready-made kit or anything like that. Okay, so there is this one, and there is this tiny one. Very cute. Excuse me. So with this small one, I think I'm just going to go around the edges, front and back. I will add some sort of maybe lace or something like that and stitch around with my sewing machine. And with this bigger one, I think I'll first make it into a tag shape. And this one I will be doing some stitching around, some hand stitching all around the tag, because I love the look, and I think it will again tie nicely with what we have on the other side of this page. So I'm just quickly inking around. This is, like I said, a nice cream inside of this box. Okay, so we have our two pieces, and let's just see how it looks with colors and all that. Yeah, I think it looks, oh, right, so I could make a pocket out of this, or I could make a card out of this. So what do I want to cover my little pocket piece with? I have some ledger. Let's see, what do I have here? So I have more of this rose paper. I could use the same, but this is maybe a bit too similar. I also have this. Well, this could perhaps work. Let me see. So maybe I will use this glue. And with my pocket, I think I'm also going to be doing some hand stitching around it. And I will probably do it off camera, because this is the part that definitely takes me a lot of time. So I am just going to probably put on an audiobook and do it, and then come back to you guys with the finished project. But we can do as much as we can right now together. Okay. So this could be my pocket. This could be my little journaling card. I love it. And then I have this one. So let me think. Do I want to use this again? Or I could use some. I also had this other ledger that we used for the inside of this pocket, so it's a slightly different maybe font than this one. Where did I put it? Oh, okay. So I could also use this. But then wouldn't it be just too similar? I think it would. Maybe let's actually, oh, can you see how this is? So because the packaging was so pink and I used wet blue, it's definitely peeking through more than I was expecting. So how about I use this tiny offcut and actually, excuse me you guys, and actually use my glue stick this time to cover this up again. So sometimes, of course, working with junk, you just have to do some trial and error until you find a way that works with your materials. And I really don't feel like grabbing my gesso now and making sure that those pieces of packaging are white before I put anything on them, and then waiting for the gesso to dry. No, that's not for today. So I'm okay with adding 2 layers of paper onto those if needed. Okay. And this is still quite cute, or maybe because now this is more like, yeah, how about I trim this off, because this is now more vertical, this image. I use this as a pocket and this as a little journaling card. Yes, I think I like it. And then for this, what did I want to use for this one? So I didn't want to use the ledger, so maybe also some of this pattern. I think it might look nice and cohesive. And also you won't be seeing that much of it when I put it in the pocket. Yeah, I think it's quite nice what we have here. So let me quickly ink around all that. And so I will also want to add just a tiny bit of some like laces or fabrics onto those cards, and the tag. Now the tag, I think I need to hand stitch around first before I add the lace. Here I'm just going to round those 2 corners just for some interest. This one I think maybe I will leave as it is. Same with this one. And perhaps I could do just a tiny bit of collaging on this little pocket. Maybe a piece of this. Okay, this is pretty. Let's put it here for now. Do I want maybe a piece of cheesecloth? I have some just to the side, so this could definitely be inked around. And so something like this, and I would glue this, glue it like this, and then like here I would do some hand stitching all around. Then with this big tag, so I'm just going to show you guys what I'll do, and then of course I will come back to show you how it looks like. But I'm thinking about taking these offcuts of lace, putting them here, and then adding a brad again, sort of like I did here. But I will do it after I stitch all around this one. So that's that. For this one, maybe just a piece of some lace. Do I have any like small pieces lying around? This is not small. A little piece of crocheted lace. Maybe that's a bit too yellow. Maybe just something like this actually, and I would stitch it like this with my sewing machine. So that would be that. And for this card, maybe I would also use this, so we have again some cohesion. And then I had this trim. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. I had this trim, but is this too pink? I think this might be slightly too pink. Or I also have a piece of this crinkly seam binding in this really pretty light blue color. And how about if I made a little bow out of this, or maybe a little ruffle, something like that? I think with all of the colors that we have here, it would really look nice. So okay, I think I have a plan, and I will be with you guys right back to show you how it all turned out. And we are all done, and I love how this turned out. So let me show you guys the finished project. I love these colors so much. I don't know why I don't work with them more often, but I added the eyelets and also on this one. So this is definitely going to be like a ring bound or a twine bound journal. And so what we did is we used a page from our little free booklet from the jewelry store as the basis of our page. We then used a junk mail envelope to create this pocket. I apologize for the glare, but we have some decorations. I added an embossed manila tag and also just a piece of embossed handmade paper to kind of bring out the blues on this page. And then this is also a magnetized flip out, so we have some journaling space on this side and this beautiful digital wallpaper from TaylorMade Journals on this side, which would be so nice to just add maybe like a photo or whatever you would like. Also, this is definitely light enough to do some writing. We have this nice trim here on the edge, and then when we turn the page, oh, I love this. So we have the other side of the junk mail pocket, which of the junk mail envelope, sorry, which created two pockets. And all of these ephemera bits, along with the small pockets, come from a medicine box, right? A medicine, medicine box. So this is how this little tag turned out with the hand stitching, and this is it on the back. So I just used a brad to attach a piece of the same lace that I had on the front. Then we have this side pocket with another journaling card, and here I just did some machine stitching, and this cute little bow with some lace, and this is this on the back, and it slides here nice and comfortably between the eyelets. And then this cute little pocket with some hand stitching, and I used one of Tracy Fox's labels, which I printed quite tiny, and a little journaling card inside of this. So we have the first page of our new journal, which I'm very, very excited about. I am already looking forward to working on this journal a little bit more with you guys. Now, I am not yet sure if I'm going to be only working on the blue one on camera and the brown warm tones off camera, or if I'm going to be doing a little bit of that, a little bit of that on camera. Let me know if maybe you would prefer one of those, or maybe you would like me to mix it up. But in any case, thank you so much for crafting with me. I hope this gave you guys some ideas of how you can use your random junk. I think we did quite well. A lot of junk got recycled or upcycled, let's say, because we just made it into something really, really pretty. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys very, very soon in the next video. Bye.